Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to do a vid here on this 40 Norseman that I got in here. I showed it at the very end of my last video and just wanted to show you where I'm going with it. Found a few issues that are to be expected of an engine of this age running in salt water and so forth, and then left to sit. So I got a lot of cleaning yet to do on it. And cleaning, although a lot of times, you know, that's just hot water and soap, sometimes you do have to start tearing things apart to get them freed up to function properly. That was the case, or is the case so far, that I found on this one. I did the treatment in one of my vids. I show you how to get the transom clamps unstuck. I did that. I got them both unstuck. The tiller handle, this was really bad, seized, and now it's nice and free. I soaked it in a solution overnight and basically just some thinned out diluted oil that I had thinned out with regular mineral spirits thinner, and it freed it up nice. If you remember what the carburetor looked like, here it is now. It cleaned up pretty nice. It wasn't bad inside except for the throat. I had to get my little wires, little wire brushes and stuff, and get in there and get all that white funky stuff out of there, but it works now. Everything's all freed up. The recoil, same thing. It was all stiff, and I've got it all oiled up, lubed up, cleaned up. I've got to get some shims in that tiller. The magneto was all real stiff too. Let me show you where we're at. Here's the beautiful engine. You can see the carburetor is off of it, and I cleaned the cowl pan real good. And like I said, the tiller handle, I took that all off. That's all nice and free now. I'll show you that in a second. She cleaned up real nice though, but I did have to do some disassembly stuff, and I've got more to do on like the fuel connector and just more to do, but she did clean up real nice. Got a lot of that salt and yuck off of there, and we'll continue to get some lube on it, and I'll get all these decals. That's from shipping back and forth to the island and so forth. So we'll get that all straightened out, get a handle on the transom clamp, but they're nice and free. So we'll get her all back together. And I'll show you. One of the problems I was having was a real stiff magneto, and that's all lubed up now and nice. And so that works off of, you can see that's all been taken apart. This has all been taken apart. Everything's all freed up, and once I get the tiller handle shimmed properly and put back on there, she'll work real good. So that's where we're at on this one. It's just a matter of getting things loosened and all freed up and cleaned up. Still quite a bit of lubing to do. So let me get you back on here. Let's see how I had that. Maybe like that. Yeah. Whoops. So I cleaned up the flywheel real nice. I cleaned it up both sides, nice and clean. Got it all looking good. It was almost white. Same with the recoil. See? And I cleaned it up both inside and out. So the old Norseman is coming together. I did put my spark spider on it, and without touching a thing on it, I had good spark on both cylinders. So I will probably go ahead and pull the power pack and the coils and just clean the grounds real good. Make sure they have good grounds. But I do have sparks, so I know they're working, but I want to clean them up, make sure they have real good grounds and everything. And this engine is a 1984 according to the numbers on it, which if you look on YouTube, I found many of them from the 70s and all the way up to I think 1976, but I didn't find any later 40s that had this big twin setup. So I'm excited about this motor because I can't remember another one like this coming in where it had the big twin setup but had all the newer electronic ignition, fuel pumps, and so forth. So I think this engine, and being that things, even though they were real salty and stuff, they are freeing up really nice. So what I'm going to do is I got to go out to my parts locker there and dig up some of those shims for the tiller handle and everything. And the tiller handle, basically, you put it on there, line up the teeth. It'll only go that one way. It has a bolt going in through it that threads into the actual tiller handle. Then it has a castle nut that goes on the inside of that with a cotter pin. And I guess you just put enough shims till you get everything nice and snug, and the castle nut turns with it so it doesn't back off and keeps the tightness. So once I get the shims and stuff, so forth and everything, and I start on that, I'll come back and video some more on this one. So we'll be right back with the old Norseman 40. All right, I'm back here with the big twin 40 Norseman. I got the carb all cleaned up. I got the primer all hooked in. Routed some new hoses and cleaned up the ground. You can see the ground wire sticking up there. Let me take you over there a little bit. Got the tiller handle back on. Hopefully you can see it. I put some shims in there, so that works real nice now. Good connection there. It works real good. Just did an overall good cleaning of the thing. Like I said, a few new hoses, carburetor's all clean, adjusted. Well, I turned it 2 out, 1 3/4. I undid the ground wire to the power pack, and you can see all that gob of dielectric there. I sanded and wire brushed all the ground connections. I put in new spark plugs, UL 81C I think they were, and that's what the manual called for. Hey, my screwdriver. Treasures. But I'm going to put her in the tank, and you'll see what I see for the first startup, if there's a startup. I think there will be. She's going to be smoking really good. God knows how long. I still need to put a transom clamp handle on that one. But she came out pretty nice, cleaned up really nice. So let me get her in the tank. And let's see if it don't snap my arm or something getting it started. All right. Wanted to take a shot of those fins one more time. Aren't those cool? I really like those fins. I got to get all this packing tape and stuff on it. You can see at some point somebody welded that shift handle. That was not me. Somebody did that. But, all right. Let's see what we get. Get in there. that bulb. I can feel the carburetor filling full. Feels good. Okay, I saw the primer working there. Let's see where we're at. If I can get some better light on it. Oh, it's a little better. Okay, it's in there pretty good. It'll shake a little bit, I think, while I try and start it. Let's see what happens. Primer's in. There's reverse. Moves a lot of water. Well, there it is. I don't think that fuel pump's pumping real well because I have a lot of air left in that line. Yeah. Almost sounds like I can hear a leak somewhere. Well, I guess that's just going through the car. Oh, that's better. Well, started right up. She's smoking. Which I guess is normal for the little big thing. Alright, finishing up on the Norseman 40 commercial. I've got it pretty much all I'm going to really do with it. One thing, I'm going to run it here for you in just a second, but one thing I want to point out is I see a lot of people on a lot of videos, or at least several, on YouTube where on these older style 40s, 30s, 33s, the kind that have the water intake just tucked up under the discharge area of the lower unit. That's where the water pickup tube is on this style. And I see people using muffs trying to get water into the basically what's called the reverse plate. It's that little plate on the side that has some little scupper holes in it so that when you're going backwards, water comes up into the water pickup tube. It's a little concerning because I don't think it gets enough water to cool it if you're running this style motor on muffs. They make or made a an actual flushing unit for these older motors. They're a little bit hard to find now. They were made by a company called Tempo, and they were called Flushettas, and you can still get them on eBay and so forth, and I'll show you a couple. Here's what they look like. That's where the water hose goes, right there, and then this goes on that intake, and this clips onto the fin. I'm going to show you one on that. This is a 918. It's for the smaller ones, up to about 12 horse for the Gales, OMC, Johnson, Evinrude, Buccaneer. That's all OMC stuff. And this is the proper flushing unit for them. The one for the bigger ones is called a 917. Same thing. I still have the clip in the original bag on this one, but this is the clip, and you'll see how it's set up out here. But either use a tall bucket or something and put the whole lower unit in the bucket, or get yourself one of these Flushettas. Like I said, they're out there. They pop up on eBay from time to time, normally for around 50 bucks. So money well spent. So let's get over here. And there's the Norseman. I'll show you how that Flushetta looks. So there it is. There's the 917. You can see the water intake. Here's the discharge area of the lower unit, and here's your intake area, and it's sealed off. It's just a tube that's welded in there, and then there's a screen back here. This is as you're moving forward where your water comes in. And what I see people do is they'll take, this is for when you're going in reverse. Water goes in here and comes up through. And I just don't know that you get enough from those little holes to cool this thing if you're, or even flush it, really. So get you a Flushetta. Like I said, they come up from time to time on eBay and so forth. And there's the old Norseman, cleaned up, all ready to go. So let me put you back here and get this thing in the down position, and we'll give her a run. Alrighty. Yeah, I'll do. First, do a quick walk around without the noise. There's the 40 Norseman Commercial 40. There's those fins I was talking about, the horizontal fins. Looks good. And I retraced out little paint pen action. There's my Gorilla Tape gasket. This one didn't have one. Let's get that right. There we go. I still need to paint pin that, the 40 there. Forgot to do that. Made a new transom clamp out of the Duralin there. And it's quite functional. And she runs really sweet. So let's go ahead and give her a run. Alright. Get in there. Okay. Squeezy the bulb. Oops, wrong water. Always turn on water. show you under the hood. That carburetor cleaned up real nice. Very simple motor. Very simple. And she cleaned up sweet. And I'll probably throw this on my old skiff and go for a run with it. I'm curious to see how well it pushes it. So there's the Norseman 40. All CDI and modern coils. Good old motor. I cleaned up the grounds, put dielectric grease on everything. She's a good runner. Start her one more time with the bonnet off. With it. Everything good. Boom. Let me cut this water off. Well, there she is. Beautiful outboard. Alright, so there's the Norseman. Straightforward, good outboard. I'm going to take it out and run it and have a little fun with it, just to see how well it pushes things. But yeah, get you one of these if you're gonna run these things on a hose. Get the Tempo Flushette 917's, the one for that motor. For the smaller ones, 918. They make a whole bunch, not just for OMCs. They make them for other outboards. Like I said, they're out of business. Well, as far as I know, they're out of business. Tempo may still be around, but they don't make these anymore that I'm aware of. And looking at the device, it wouldn't even be that hard to fabricate your own. I mean, it's just a cup-shaped deal with a couple of springs, a little plate, and a place to hook a hose. So with a little brazen rod, some ingenuity, I'm sure you could build this device. And I've seen other ones where people kind of just stick a hose straight up that intake. They take out the screen and then put a little copper tube right up in there, and even that would be better to me than the muffs. The muffs are not designed for these. So she runs good, looks pretty good, and I'm looking forward to getting it out on the water and giving it a run. So thanks for watching.